Leaders of the so-called Coalition of the Willing having a meeting today. These are the nations supporting the Ukrainian war effort against Russia. President Trump pressuring the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy to reach a deal, meantime, with the leader of Russia, Vladimir Putin. Listen to this.
Of course, a working model of security guarantees is impossible, and we underlined it, impossible without Europe and all members of our Coalition of the Willing, from Canada to Japan, Australia, and New Zealand. Thank you all.
Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, Bill Taylor, is with us now. That's Zelenskyy meeting with these world leaders. Says he had constructive talks on the Ukrainian side as well with Rubio and Hegseth. He's put forward a revised peace proposal. Where do you think it's going?
So he has pulled in the Europeans with him, Connell. So the Ukrainians, Europeans agree on the latest version. And this has gone back and forth. There was an initial 28-point plan that was rejected because it was so pro-Russian. It is down now to 20 points. And the Ukrainians and Europeans have presented it to the Americans yesterday. And then, as you say, today, the Ukrainians are having this conversation with the Coalition of the Willing on the security side. But on this 20-point plan, it's now being discussed in the United States, and some discussions over the weekend with European leaders will determine where they go next.
Will there be issues, in your estimation, from the Trump administration? And if so, what would the issues be?
There will always be issues. I think what the Ukrainians have proposed is a freeze in place. That is, stop fighting along the current lines. There's some indication that at least Steve Witkoff supports the Russian view that the Russians would like to take some of Ukrainian province of Donetsk that the Russians don't now occupy. That is, it's still Ukrainian territory. Ukrainians living there. And apparently Steve Witkoff and the Russians would like the Ukrainians to give up that territory. The Ukrainians will not do that.
Okay, let me go to the maps then to drive home that point. I know we've looked at these many times. A little bit of a different version here as we split up 2022 when all this started with the current present date, December of 2025, and where the militaries have control. These are these current lines that the ambassador is talking about, where the Russians have taken control, and you can see it, so I'll just take that off the screen for a moment. Donetsk there, Luhansk, and these areas that have been talked about so much. If this doesn't come together, if they can't come to an agreement, and if the U.S. doesn't support it, what does it actually look like if this all goes south? I mean, there's, at the beginning, remember we used to have all those conversations, the risk of World War III. The president himself has even mentioned that. What's the risk now if this doesn't actually work in the next however many months?
The risk now is that the Russians continue to fight, continue to bombard the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians continue to defend with the support of the Europeans and the Americans and the rest of NATO. That would be a travesty. That would mean more people dying, both sides. But the Russians are continuing to attack the Ukrainians. How to get out from that? If the United States, if President Trump really wants to end this war, as he said he has, he said over and over, he said he wants to stop the killing, he needs to put pressure on President Putin to come to the table. The Ukrainians have been there. The Ukrainians have been there, have been cooperative. They want to end this. They've got proposals. The Russians have said no to every proposal that the Americans and Ukrainians have agreed to, and now the Europeans have agreed to. So that's the issue now, how to get Putin to agree, and it's going to take pressure from President Trump.
All right, Ambassador Taylor, as always, thank you, sir. We're going to talk about Ukraine, also talk about Venezuela in today's Daily.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.